What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I wanted to share a little bit more about succulents and what is the most important thing related with succulents that you need to acquire, and that is patience. Of course, there are other things which deals with your care. I would say 50 to 60% is your care, that is the type of soil mix you make, how you water, how much of sunlight you offer to your succulents. This is all your care, and the rest depends upon the environment and climate. So patience is the key thing. Now I know a lot of people tend to run out of patience. Now how do I know about this? Because that's when they tend to ask me, what fertilizer should I use? That means that they can no longer wait. They feel that their succulents are not growing. They are running out on patience, and that's when people tend to ask, what fertilizer should I use for my succulents to grow faster? As I've mentioned this earlier as well, I don't use any fertilizers. This garden soil itself provides all the nutrients, and probably after 2 or 3 years when I tend to change the soil and rejuvenate the soil, probably that is how it has been helping them, but I don't use any additional fertilizer whatsoever. Now over here I have this particular succulent. As you can see, this is another example of the amount of patience that you need. What happened over here is, this is my haworthia pink zargoza. It was dehydrated, or I would say it was more on the underwatered side. The leaves were very soft, and unfortunately it was left in morning direct sunlight. As I've said, if your succulent is getting dehydrated, you have to move it to indirect bright light. Let's say that it is dehydrated to an extent wherein the leaves are looking very wrinkled. The best option is to move the succulent to indirect bright light and do a complete watering. Let it stay in indirect bright light until the leaves start looking better. This is only in extreme case of dehydration. So what happened over here is the same thing. The leaves were dehydrated, they were wrinkled, and it was left in direct morning sunlight for around let's say 5 to 6 or probably 7 hours, and due to which you can see the older leaves also happen to get burnt. This is a very old plant, so you can see the older leaves, they still have that scarring, they have got burnt, there is deformity on the older leaves. But now as soon as I started providing the care, you can see there is a lot of new growth on the crown area, and this has taken a very long time. It's not that it happened within a couple of weeks. I would say it might have taken around 6 months for it to look like this. So it will take another maybe a year and a half, or even 2 years for it to start looking fuller. I have another pink zargoza. As you can see, this is how it's supposed to look. The crown area is slowly starting to look a little bit better, but it's going to take a very long time for it to look like this. So all we have to do is just wait. So we have to offer the basic care. My environment is already friendly with my succulents, so the only thing that I have to do is keep a watch on the watering, offer it a good amount of light. Watering is something that I have to keep in mind, because I usually tend to either forget or I get lazy, due to which most of my succulents have issues of underwatering. Because you can see this, it is a huge task to water all of these, and as you'll all know how I tend to water, my watering technique is very different. I do not spray water on the succulent. I do not randomly throw water on them. I water each and every individual pot, so it becomes a huge task for me to water all of them. But then that is how I prefer to water them. Again, it all depends upon you. This is my technique. I prefer to water it like this. A lot of people tend to take a garden hose and start spraying water on the succulent, and it depends upon the environment and climate. For some people it's not much of an issue. For me it is an issue, because my succulents tend to get burnt if water is left on the leaves. If you remember this one, you can see this, there was water droplets left and it got burnt. So I have to be extremely careful. So I do not water just randomly by throwing water on them. I water only in the pot with that thin nozzled bottle. So that has been working out really well. Now, as I mentioned, patience is the most important thing when you're growing succulents. this entire hobby is based on patience. You need to have a lot of patience. This is something that I keep telling you. Now, of course, patience will also reward you with something like this. These are some of the leaf propagations. These are my Graptovaria titubans. If you remember, I had made the entire playlist video. If you haven't watched that, I'll put the link in the description below. Do check it out because it is an entire process from plucking the leaf to repotting the pups in an individual pot. So today, as you can see, they look absolutely stunning. I think it might have been around 2 years. I'm not very sure, probably 2 years or more than 2 years. And now you can see they're looking absolutely fantastic. Even in 2 years, they have not reached the size of a mother plant. These are not even medium size, I would say. These are less than a size medium, but they look absolutely stunning. I really love Graptovaria titubans. This is one of my favorite succulents. They are also called as the porcelain succulent because they kind of look like they're made out of porcelain. Can see this, the color, the shape looks absolutely beautiful. They're also called as the porcelain plant. So because they have been getting a good amount of light, proper watering, the soil mix is loose, porous, well draining, my environment is very pleasant, and now it is their growing period during the winters. So they have actually doubled in size what they were before. So I'm very happy with leaf propagation. You might have already seen I have been preparing some more leaf propagations, which again is going to take a very long time, and hence I happen to propagate a lot of them together. So I hope that everything grows together, and anyways all of my other succulents are also doing fantastic. So at the end of the day, I would say with care, with your environment, patience also plays a very important role, especially if you are getting into the hobby of succulents. So that's about it, guys. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.